All right, good morning, everyone. Let me call to order the Lubbock Metropolitan Planning Organization Transportation Policy Committee. It is Tuesday, January 21st, in the year of our Lord 2025. It is 8:31, and I will announce that a quorum is present. On item number 3 is our safety procedures. Usually I say if Jared Atkinson's runs, we run. He's not here, so Mr. Warren? Sure. If you run, I run. We'll be lucky to get out alive. There we go. Item 4 is our public comments. Mrs. Walker, do we have any public comments today? All right, then I will close public comments. And want to thank our guests and our staff for being here today for the TPC meeting. Item 5 on our agenda is to approve the October 15th, 2024 meeting minutes of the TPC. Members, if you've had a chance to go over those and you wish to make a motion, we'll accept a motion at this time.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Martinez Garcia. I have a second by Mr. Mandrill. Is there any further discussion or any changes to the minutes? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding the resolution 2025-01. This is approving a 2025-2034 10-year plan to support the 2025 Unified Transportation Plan. Morning, Martin. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good morning, Honorable Judge and members of the Policy Committee. I will be presenting on a comprehensive overview of the 2024 Annual Performance and Expenditure Report, or APER, for the Lubbock Metropolitan Planning Organization, highlighting our activities, achievements, and progress made in addressing transportation needs in the year 2024, or fiscal year 2024. The 2024 APER provides a thorough summary of the Lubbock MPO's effort over the past year.
Yep, you're on the wrong.
Oh, okay.
We're on the UTP.
All right.
10-year plan.
I can do that as well.
We'll take that one up in about, next.
All right.
There we go.
Not a problem. Let's try this one. The 2025-34 10-year plan was developed by the Lubbock Metropolitan Planning Organization as required underneath House Bill 20, which was passed by the Texas legislation in 2015. The legislation mandates that the state and the Metropolitan Planning Organizations utilize performance-based planning and project selection along with developing criteria to consider congestion, safety, economic development, available funding, air quality, and socioeconomic effects on transportation. This plan is meant to address the region's evolving transportation needs, ensuring that we meet the demand of a growing population by improving mobility and creating a transportation system that serves everyone equitably and sustainably. The 2025 10-year plan is a strategic framework that must be aligned with the Unified Transportation Plan, or the state's UTP, and the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, or MTP, ensuring that local regional goals are synchronized with the state and federal priorities. In an effort for clarity and transparency, this plan for the first time was developed with a narrative, including an introduction, a section on planning and programming, a description on funding allocations, as well as a highway project listing as what was given to you prior. We also included the transit project listing, or a multimodal listing. In this manner, it is easier to demonstrate to our federal and state partners that this plan aims to enhance mobility, promote safety, and support economic development with emphasizing sustainability and equity. So underneath that plan, you can see here's a table of contents, including all those sections I just indicated. The introduction gives our purpose and the development of the actual projects and the different categories that we're supposed to hit under House Bill 20. The allocations substantially funding for the 2025 period across multiple categories to the Lubbock MPO for programming. These include Category 2 for urban corridors projects, Category 4 for statewide connectivity, and Category 9 for non-motorized transportation and supplement transportation programs. And finally, Category 10 CR. I know that for a lot of times when we were discussing this, the question would come up, what are these categories? And that's the reason why underneath the funding allocation, we actually give the definitions for you to be able to review and utilize, as well as a little bit of what each one of those funding pots can go into. So you can kind of see that there's a grouping for congestion, a grouping for safety, a grouping for infrastructure deterioration or maintenance, and then an allocation for accessibility. These monies have been used to fund critical projects including major road improvements, road widening, intersection upgrades, and bridge repair, which will help ensure the region's infrastructure can meet growing demands. Non-motorized infrastructure such as bicycle lanes and pedestrian walkways will be expended to improve safety and mobility for all users. Underneath the following page, you can see the funding allocation for the years 2025 through 2035 underneath the UTP. You can see that underneath there, you also have categories for Category 1, Category 11, and Category 12. Those categories are funding allocations that are given to the Lubbock District to utilize as they see fit. In this case, some of those fundings have been allocated to be expended within the Lubbock Metropolitan Planning Organizations planning area boundary. And as such, we have to make sure that we appropriately show those within our tables as well. In Section 4, you will see the project listing, and these project listings are listed out there by not only ID, but also by the MPO ID, the name of the project, the from and the to, a project description listing, as well as the federal and local splits that are required to be able to utilize the federal funding. From that section then, you could see the total amount that was allocated for that project by project funding pot. And so in this case, you could see that some projects have multiple funding sources, which isn't unusual. Sometimes it takes different funding pots to be able to completely fund a full project. And so when you take a look at that, if you take a look, you can see, for example, underneath the first project, you have an allocation made under 10 CR, and that's the full project amount allocated. But underneath a different project, you might see Category 1 funding plus Category 6 and then Category 9, which means that, you know, those different funding pots will all add up to be able to be the total amount that was shown underneath the federal and local apportionment. The 2025 10-year plan is a strategic and comprehensive approach to addressing Lubbock's region's most pressing transportation needs. By aligning with the UTP, the MTP, and the TIP, the plan ensures that both short-term and long-term investments are well coordinated and responsive to the region's needs. The Lubbock MPO will continue working closely with state and federal partners, refining the plan as new priorities emerge, ensuring closely with ensuring that the transportation investment remains sustainable and inclusive. I stand for any questions that you may have.
Yes, please. Why don't you move your microphone? Yeah, there you go. That'll work.
Back on, I think it was number 3. It was prior to number 4 section, and I don't know if it was table 1 or number 3. The next slide, please, where it you have the different amounts across the top on the for each year. That one. How are those amounts designated?
These funding amounts came out of the Texas Unified Transportation Plan. These are projections made by the state on how much funding based off of federal and state local coffers they will have for our region.
Okay.
And so these are actual allocations coming out of the Texas Unified Transportation Plan. We do not
We
make these
have no
projections. We
control
just
over that.
take these funding allocations and then we ensure that they are programmed correctly. And so that's part of the way we tie our 10-year plan with the state's 10-year plan. We
Thank you.
ensure that we are working off of the information that they provide us.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Warren?
Martin, if you could go back to the project listing on FY 2025, the very top project, Upland Avenue, the totals don't seem to add up to the actual cost as you run across. Where is that?
So we have $260,000 for the local apportionment of $1,040,000 for a total of $1,300,000 underneath Category 10 CR.
Well, I'm looking at the Upland Avenue project.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, from 98th to 82nd.
Yeah,
Yes, I see that.
Under the, Mr. Lucero, in the big handout, in the larger handout, it's the top one. On your listing, it's the third project down.
Yeah, there it is. Showing in 2026 now. That should be 20,800,000. It shows 12.2 for a total. Could make a difference.
We'll go back and make sure that we correctly identify the mistake there. It appears to be a typo.
Yeah, I don't know how it affects your totals. Anyway, that's the only one I noticed that didn't seem to add up. Thank you.
I appreciate that. We'll go back and make that correction.
Judge Parrish.
Mr. Mandrell?
Yes, on that, on the one that's on the screen shows that Upland project in 26, but on the sheet, the handout has it in 25. Which year is that? Because I think it looks like that may be the only one that has a different year between the different sheets here. You know which year that actually, which one is correct, which year that belongs?
At this time, I will have to defer to getting that answer to you once we're able to check a couple documents.
Okay.
I need to go back and check a couple of minutes to ensure that we have it in the proper location, and then we'll get that information back over to you.
Any other questions regarding the UTP? This time, the chair will entertain a motion regarding the resolution 2025.01 or -01.
I move to approve pending the corrections that were pointed out, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion by Mr. Warren. I have a second by Councilwoman Martinez Garcia to approve Resolution 2025-01, approving the 2025 UTP. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, item 7 is to discuss and take appropriate action regarding Resolution 2024-16. This is to approve fiscal year 24 annual performance and expenditure report and advance it to the Texas Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, and the Federal Transit Administration. Now you can, now go for it.
Now I'll present the APER.
There you go.
The 2024 APER provides a summary of the Lubbock MPO's effort over the past year, with a focus on aligning our projects with long-term set goals in the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan and the Transportation Improvement Program. Throughout the year, we focused on completing the 2050 MTP with the help from HNTB, the consulting firm given to us under agreement with TxDOT. The Lubbock MPO also continued to work on key transportation projects, including the continued construction of the Highway SL 88 project, as well as Woodrow Road. These projects, when complete, will play a significant role in improving the regional mobility and addressing congestion challenges within the region. Moreover, the Lubbock MPO benefited from substantial funding increases, particularly through the Infrastructure Investment Job Act, or IIJ, which provided additional federal resources for transportation initiatives within the region. Additionally, collaboration with agencies like TxDOT and the Lubbock County have been crucial to the successful planning and management of these projects. A key component of the Lubbock's MPO work in the is the Unified Planning Work Program, or UPWP, which outlines the organization's core tasks and provides frameworks for annual planning and budgeting activity. Underneath this plan, we have various tasks. Underneath Task 1, Administration, it was crucial in ensuring communication and coordination between federal, state, and local agencies, as well as managing regional initiatives. Significant achievements in this area include the successful completion of the 2050 MTP, updates to the Title VI Plan and Public Participation Plan, as well as the completion of the 2024 APER, staff training, and extensive public outreach. The administration tasks were carried out largely as planned. Underneath Task 2, Data Development and Maintenance, the Lubbock MPO worked diligently to enhance regional data resources, ensuring that our travel demand model was maintained, geographical information systems and maps were updated, and the congestion management was reviewed, and the data needed to be able to do the update was captured. This data-driven approach supports informed decision-making and planning efforts. Although the task was completed within budget, there were minor, although all tasks were completed, there were minor budget overruns due to some timesheet accuracy that we had to kind of do at the very end. We overran that by $1,000, and it was just a short run in the timekeeping there. Underneath Task 3, Short-Range Planning, this LMPO updated the 2023-26 TIP and began preparing for the 2025-28 TIP. Public outreach played a critical role in this task, particularly through the use of online surveys, public meetings, and collaboration with City Bus to emphasize community involvement in shaping transportation priorities. While a minor oversight, we completed that task and we were able to do so. We actually had a large portion of our public outreach was substantially greater than anticipated. And we were able to utilize that public outreach in the development of the 2050 UTP. Our online public outreach was so successful that we saw participation throughout all zip codes within the county. And we were able to utilize that data to be able to update all the rest of the information needed for the other projects. Underneath Task 4, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, the LMPO developed the 2050 to MTP, a document that prioritized projects based on data analysis and community feedback. The MTP also integrates multimodal solutions and aligns with state-level planning efforts. This task will ultimately exceed the budget originally budgeted due to the need for a consultant. The successful completion of the plan justified the cost, though. and we were confident that it will serve as a crucial guide for transportation planning over the coming decades. We still do not have the final bill for that. That will come through TxDOT. They'll go ahead and take that out of our reserves, and then they'll give us that final bill. We do anticipate that to be here shortly. We've made that request to them, but we needed to close out the annual performance and expenditure report as mandated by law. And so we will come back and give a total accounting for that line item once we receive that. Under Task 5, Special Studies, we focused on conducting transportation system analysis, performing needs assessment, and developing strategies for congestion management. The LMPO updated its congestion management process to align with the IIJ requirements, incorporating national best practices and community feedback. The LMPO also launched several interactive dashboards, such as those for crash data, active transportation, and congestion management to improve community engagement and provide useful data for future planning. Those dashboards are live, and they are being able to be used by the community to find different things like the closest bus route to their home, or to be able to see how crashes are affecting our region and where the hot spots are within the Lubbock Metropolitan Planning Organization. In terms of overall budget and performance, the Lubbock MPO's total budget for FY24 was $75,107.41, not including the final costs attributed to the work conducted by HNTB, with $665,977.59 expended, representing approximately 89.87% of total allocation. While some tasks, such as Task 3, experienced minor budget overruns, others, like Task 5, came in under budget. The LMPO made significant strides in advancing its transportation planning efforts and addressing key regional priorities. Moving forward, the LMPO is focused on continuing to improve our administrative practices and managing our resources more efficiently by leveraging collaboration with our partners and refining our planning processes. The LMPO is well positioned to enhance transportation outcomes for the Lubbock region in the years to come. I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any additional details if needed.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Lucero?
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
My first question has to do with the survey results. Are those available to the public?
We have the survey results combined. We won't give individual answers as, you know, that just isn't normally the practice, but we do have all those. If the request is made, we can provide those. We had, I want to say, approximately, what was it, like 600 responses on one survey, and then an additional 300 from the bike and ped survey. And so we had a significant amount of public interaction. And if you would like those, we can provide those for you as well.
Just to have access if needed, just to be able to look at it or read it online.
Yes, that.
My other question has to do, I know that we were under budget, and what I'd like to know is the remaining funds, will they be reallocated into something else, or what's the plan for that?
So any additional funds that weren't utilized underneath the planning funds that we get are rolled over and are held in reserve for the next year or the next planning cycle. We do have a good, healthy reserve. However, a lot of that will be taken and swept away with the cost that was utilized from the HNTB. And so whatever was not used this year will be put back into that reserve to help build that back up.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was part of my questioning also, Mr. Lucero, is the, I know in Task 3 was overspent from the budget, and your explanation was good. Do you line item transfer to reconcile that balance, or is it just kind of all kind of lumped in then at the bottom, and as long as the overall balance remains under, then we're in good shape?
Yes, as long as the overall budget isn't overrun, we're in good shape. We try to make sure that we make transfers. If there's a significant amount that needs to be transferred over, we will do so. In this case, it was such a minor amount that we just left it as is, since we do have cost savings in other areas that offset that significantly.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Lucero regarding the 2024 budget? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2024-16, which approves the fiscal year 24 APER. Is there any, do I have a motion? I have a motion by Mr. Mandrell. I have a second by Councilwoman McDonald. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the question. All in favor? Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is to discuss a recommended administrative amendment to the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan to reflect TxDOT's electric vehicle station selection in Lubbock County under the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program. Mr. Lucero.
Normally, we would try not to have an amendment to a plan that we just barely adopted a few months back. However, this is to be able to help our TxDOT partners and to be able to do so in a way that will allow them to move forward with one of their projects. As part of the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, or the IIJ, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program was created to support the deployment of electric vehicles charging infrastructure across the United States. This program allocates funding to states to establish reliable national network of EV charging stations to support electric vehicle adoption. In Texas, the Texas Department of Transportation developed the Texas Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Plan, which outlines how the state will utilize its allocation of $407.8 million over the next 5 years to implement EV charging stations across the state. Underneath this program, Lubbock County was awarded an EV charging station at the Microtel located at I-27 and 50th Street. This station was selected as part of a broader statewide call issued by TxDOT. To ensure that the station is properly reflected in our regional planning document, we are proposing an administrative amendment to the 2050 MTP. This amendment will add the station's location to the tip map, the illustrative list, and priority project listing. It is an important note that the station's inclusion does not represent a significant change to the MTP, as planning and selection process aligns both with TxDOT and the MTP guidelines. As the result, this action falls underneath the administrative amendment rule, meaning that no additional approval or major adjustments are necessary. For the Lubbock MPO region, the NEVI funding allocation amounts to approximately $1,252,278, which includes the required 20% local match provided underneath TxDOT's funding pot. This funding will support the continued expansion of EV charging infrastructure in the region. This inclusion of the EV station will help improve the region's overall transportation infrastructure, ensuring that electric vehicle owners have the necessary resources for long-distance travel. This funding allocation was a call that was issued underneath the statewide process. With that being, it was outside of the MPO process, and so we did not have the ability to be able to kind of choose or pick where that was going. It was actually selected underneath the criteria that was established underneath the Texas Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Plan. Now, the reason why I say that this is only administrative and not a substantial change to the MTP is that through the MTP process, we brought in those aspects of the Texas Electric Infrastructure Plan for that little section that affects the MTP. And so it was already outlined that eventually a project or two may come from this plan and will come to our region. And so with that, it was already identified as a possibility. And so the inclusion there, since it does not affect any of our actual funding allocation, is administrative. And so that's how that project was selected, and it came to the Lubbock region. Although no action is required today, we wanted to inform the committee of this development. I'm happy to answer any questions and provide further clarification if needed.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Please. You turn on your microphone.
I'm so sorry. Considering some of the administration change, will some of the changes being made at the federal level impact these amounts locally?
So this funding pot here was guaranteed through 2026. And so FY 2026 actually starts in October 1st of this coming year. Those funding allocations have already been given. And so our anticipation is that the funding is secured through the end of September 30 of next year. However, any additional funding underneath this category needs to be, we need to wait to see how this administration will proceed with this type of funding, if they choose to further the funding or if they choose just to let the funding category sunset. And so our anticipation is that we wait 30 to 45 days, and then we kind of see how the administration moves forward, and then we can kind of get a better feel on whether this funding type of category will continue or if it will just sunset.
Mr. Warren, first of all, thank you for the $250,000. Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay. I remember back in the day when $1 million seemed like a lot of money. I would like to say that I fully support this project. The Lubbock District has the distinction of having the first NEVI charging station in the entire state of Texas within its boundaries. It was opened up a couple of months ago in Happy, Texas, just outside the Lunchbox Cafe. And as long as you're not staring at your battery levels going too low, you won't miss it. You'll see it over there. So I'd also point out these are the federally funded through the IAJR program. That does not mean there's not other charging stations already in place. The electric vehicles are not solely relying on these charging stations, but and to your question, Councilwoman, one never knows about rescissions. We've gone through them in the past. Yes, this funding has been approved and authorized for the Lubbock MBO. And we're going to proceed, or TxDOT will proceed with this charging station unless rescissions are issued by the Federal Highway Administration.
Mr. Warren, when do you plan this? When is this going to be fully operational?
I will defer to our MPO partners to give us the best guess on that, because I've not been that deeply involved in the electric charging. But I can get back to you on that, Judge, if you'd like. Okay. I can have somebody that works for me get back to you on that, Judge, if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate that. Mr. Lucero, anything further?
Nothing further.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll move to item 9, which is the highlight of our entire meeting is our reports.
And you can see Mr. Warren is already.
I know, he's groaning. But he's got a charging station, so he should be happy enough with that.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir.
And policy committee members, for the reports, we'll breeze through the reports quickly. On page 29 is a summary of our national organization's 2025 legislative priority issues. AMPO, or their acronym, has already begun a discussion of increasing MPO funding to support the added increase in mandated, and I emphasize the word mandated, planning requirements issued by Congress, along with the idea of shifting certain discretionary grant programs to the formula funding strategy to ensure more activity through the MPO. Another big discussion at the congressional level right now, or soon to be, is the MPO becoming the direct recipient of federal funds, thereby basically bypassing all the state DOTs and the MPO becoming essentially their own entity. Of course, we'd still play by the same rules and regulations. We just get all our money direct from the federal government. Then on page 30, I've asked Kylan if she'll come and give us an update of our 23-26 TIP projects as we get ready for the February call for revisions.
Okay, so the first few ones, the Woodrow Road obviously is under construction. So all of those 23 projects are under construction, and 24. 25 is where I'll give most of the updates in 26. So 25, we have Upland 82nd 98th, which that was moved to 26, but this just hasn't been updated. And the right-of-way, so 82nd 98, everything is good. Right-of-ways in possession, utilities, and PS&E. So that one is ready to let. It was really more of a funding consideration on the city of Lubbock's part on moving that to 26. But the next Upland, which is from 98th to 114th, that's been moved to being locally let through the city of Lubbock. But they are also starting the right-of-way acquisition for that portion, so they still lack right-of-way and utilities. The PS&E is up to 95%. And then the last one on there is a shared use path and illumination on Woodrow Road from Slide to Indiana. And that is really dependent on when that portion of the roadway is let. But it looks like it might actually be able to let in 26. And so for that piece of Woodrow, all the right-of-way is in possession, and they're starting utility relocation right now. So that's all the updates for the existing TIP. Jeremy was not able to be here, but he did send me some notes for the quarterly TSMO update. So his notes are offered and will continue to offer traffic incident management training for all local first responders and emergency personnel. The older DMS boards across the district are being upgraded. We are installing CCTV and DMS boards on TxDOT projects when available, as well as in-house projects. We are installing more wrong-way signs at wrong-way driver and wrong-way driver detection systems. So the first one we installed was at Spur 331 and US 84, and we have that active, and we're also working on getting LPD and Lubbock SO access to the system so they can monitor it with us. We've installed 25 mini road weather information systems, units at various locations across the district to observe and track weather conditions, including air temp, ground temp, pressure, to get a picture of the roadway during these type of weather events. We worked with the city of Lubbock to provide them with a contract to order new signal detection systems for off-system signals. And then we're installing cable barrier throughout the district and working with first responders during design and construction to ensure they have safe places to have cuts in the system for them to use, to cross the medians. We are testing 3 different illumination monitoring systems that will notify TxDOT of outages in the system. So a lot of our guys have to go out at night to see if everything's on, right? So this will detect if the energy being used has dropped, then that lets us know that it's out, and they can go service it. And then installed and testing several different solar-powered illumination systems. So that's the TSMO update.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Francis.
Moving on page 31 is an article reporting that the Austin Transit Partnership has selected a construction team to build the city's first light rail system that is planned to be operational by 2033. This is according to a report released by AECOM Consulting Engineers. The first phase of construction is estimated at $7 billion, covers about 10 miles of that system with 15 stations and sidewalks and bike paths to support mobility and equity. And the plan will link Lady Bird Lake, downtown Austin, the university, and the airport, Austin Bergstrom International Airport. And on page 32 is an announcement from USDOT where they've made a $36.1 million award to the Sacramento International Airport through the Build America Bureau. That bureau, as you know, is a product of the now current Surface Transportation Bill and operates similarly to the other TIFIA loan programs. The takeaway here is that the glass ceiling, if you will, for loan programs has been broken. This award represents the first loan ever to a non-interstate, non-highway type project. It will fund a sky bridge, including 4 moving sidewalks, 4 escalators, ADA compliant walkways, 2 passenger elevators, 1 service elevator, stairs, and an electrical room. And I wanted Mr. Atkinson to be here because I want to make a point to him that as the city, being that they are the 139 certificated air carrier community, this would be another funding opportunity for all kinds of funding discussions at the airport. That's the glass ceiling that we've now broken.
Because we all know how important escalators and elevators are to air travel.
Well, and moving sidewalks.
Yes,
Very important.
Yes, okay.
At
I'm a
ease.
big fan.
At ease.
Oh, sorry. This is reports, not an
Oh,
open
okay.
comment.
Not
period.
open comments.
On page 34 is our monthly financial report, Judge, through November, which is the 16th percentile. You notice we don't have any movement on the collection of our revenues to date. We are only 11% spent on our expenses, so our budget is in good shape, and that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Notice you've placed a couple of handouts here at the stations, including this fold-out map. If you thought that we didn't have fold-out maps anymore, we've got them. I think we're going to use this for millennials to teach them how to unfold and fold maps properly. It's like phone books; they've gone away.
They've gone away.
But thank you for bringing this one back. I'm going to put it up in my office.
But it is nicely folded.
It's nicely folded. It's a wonderful map.
And it will be folded that way again.
No, that's right. All right. Is there any other business of the MPO?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a quick announcement if you'd allow.
Please.
It pleases me to announce that Ms. Kylan Francis of our TxDOT office has been named as the Deputy District Engineer for the Lubbock District, effective January 1st. So at our next meeting, hopefully, if things go well, we will have a new Director of TP&D to sacrifice at the altar of the Policy Committee. Congratulations, Kylan.
Yes, congratulations. That's very much. All right, thank you very much. And with that, the Lubbock MPO is now adjourned.
Thank you for your attendance. We appreciate you being here.